In Black Clover, there are many fights that pique the reader's attention, whether it be Magna versus Dante, Magicula versus Noelle, or hell, even Zagred versus everyone. But those fights can get separate videos on themselves, and this video is about the tragic beauty of Zenon versus Yuno. But before we begin, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay notified whenever I upload a Black Clover video. And if you want to see more like this, comment down below what other fights you guys want to see me analyze. Now obviously we gotta have a reason why they're fighting. It's obvious. If you read the manga or watched the anime, you understand. Yuno doesn't like Zenon, because Zenon killed half his squad and kidnapped his captain, which is William Vengeance. Before Zenon came and gave Yuno the worst day ever, Yuno would actually seem happy, because he has now been accepted by the Golden Dawn. He's now seen them as his family, but his past is now catching up to him, because he is a royal of the Spade Kingdom and their prince. And it's crazy because Zenon is the main factor, well, not really the main factor, but he's the reason why Yuno is kind of alive in the anime filler canon. Now, I know people can say that Yuno is boring, he has no character, which I don't agree with, but when you look at this perspective, I think this arc really shows everyone the depth of Yuno. Yuno does care about his comrades, and mostly in episode 148, which was the Golden Family, it actually helped show that Yuno is a caring person and does care about the Golden Dawn to an extent, and it takes a while for them to accept him. It is a development that I think is one of the best in Black Clover. I think every Black Clover fan would agree that Zenon is the best antagonist in the Spade arc, and there's no contest, because he brings the best out of Yuno, and we can see the parallels between them. But first, we gotta talk about Yuno's worst day ever, which I explain in Zenon's analysis, which is basically Zenon, the burden of being weak. Now, if you don't have time to watch that video, I'm going to explain it pretty quickly. Zenon basically entered the Golden Dawn base, he showed off his huge magic power, big strong bones, destroyed the Golden Dawn, and kidnapped William Vengeance. And this was one of Yuno's toughest fights in his life. He was training like hell to fight Zenon and to avenge his fallen Golden Dawn members. And you could see in the flashback when Yuno was thinking about where he's been at and when he was going to die against Zenon, how basically he's been at the graves of the dead Golden Dawn members, and it is implied that he did bury them himself. As you see in this whole arc, Yuno is down and about, and right now he's at his lowest where he's ever been. While Zenon, he may not look like it or may not seem like it, he's at the highest he's ever been. But again, it may not look like it. Yuno decides to train Longus because Longus has spatial magic, even though Zenon and Longus' spatial magic is not the same, but still it could help him defeat Zenon and understand a weakness to spatial magic in general. Yuno being the vice captain of Golden Dawn, he's going to have to make tactical decisions that help him throughout a fight. So I think this side of Yuno is very, very good, but I'm not going to start talking about the tactical side. I want to talk about the beauty of this fight. I think this fight is the best fight in the Raid arc with terms of story development and character development, and mostly a better villain, which is Zenon. Now, obviously their second fight, Longus shows up, but it shows that Longus isn't really up for the task. And now with Yuno finally having a counter for Zenon's absolute space and spatial domination using his Boris form, well, his Spirit Dive and Boris weapon, he's able to push Zenon back, and even Zenon with his 80% devil power isn't enough to beat this Boris Yuno. But that's until the first gate finally opens and Zenon unlocks 100% of his devil power. And this is when Yuno is kind of at the back burner. And I will say this, I will make a power scaling video on how strong Zenon is and how strong the Dark Triad is in general. I'm going to make that soon. Now, I think people need to understand that these 100% Triads are no joke. Just because Nama and Lilith and Devil Union Oster are this strong does not mean that these guys aren't strong in their own rights. They are near the level of Supreme Devil, so that means they're pretty strong as well. And Yuno is facing off against Zenon with a little bit of help with Longus, and is able to survive most likely with no help besides Longus. And he actually does better than most of the captains, which is Charlotte, Rill, and Jack. These guys were some coveted captains who should be at least higher than Yuno, but Yuno is showing that he is a stronger captain and a stronger mage than all of them because of his latent potential and being beloved by Mana. Now, there are multiple fights in the Spade Kingdom that, overshadow Yuno and Zenon, but I still think Yuno and Zenon are just completely better than any other fight. That includes Vodka and Noelle, Magicula versus Noelle, and Magna versus Dante. The battle continues after chapter 304, and Yuno is now placing his bets on Longus to buy him 3 minutes. Now, this is saying something, because him and Longus didn't really have the best of relationships in the previous arcs. And with this, it shows how much Yuno has developed and shown how much Longus has grown as a character. But different video for that, because I think Longus deserves a separate video because he's an amazing character with amazing development. Now, we also have Zenon spouting his whole, the weak should face the strong type beat, and the other stuff like, without power, emotions nor tenacity mean nothing. And we actually understand why he says this to Longus, because again, Longus is somebody who is weak compared to him, and Longus couldn't even match up against 55% Zenon, so he shouldn't be able to do anything. But Longer says he can't just sit around and do nothing, and allows Zenon to do as he pleases because he belongs to the strongest brigade, which is the Golden Dawn. Now, whether you think it's the Black Bulls or not, it doesn't matter. Now, Yuno has finally got off his arrow and shot it right through Zenon's chest, missing Longer's. This is where Zenon decides to go into a flashback, because now he feels weak. He feels like he has lost everything. And in this flashback, again, I already went through it in my Zenon analysis, but I'm going to briefly show it. Zenon used to be bullied. He used to be weak. He used to be picked on, because Zenon was different, and Zenon didn't have the power to defend himself until Alan showed up and changed his life and wanted to follow his path and becoming the one and the only head of the Spade Kingdom. Now, obviously, this is equivalent of the Wizard King, if you guys want to say that. Now, obviously, the parallel here is that Zenon decided to kill his best friend when Yuno decided not to, because Yuno knew that he wouldn't be able to live with himself if he just killed Longers out and about. That would be wrong. Even though it seemed like the right choice, it seems like it would be a bad choice for Yuno, because Yuno's just not like that. He doesn't want to be making that decision, and he feels like he has made the right decision to save Longers, or so he may think. This whole thing brings Zenon back to his roots, but he was just like Yuno. But sadly, everyone doesn't become a victor by just being good and being nice. Your dreams cannot be fulfilled unless you get stronger, and that was the reality of Zenon. That's what crushed him. He couldn't get stronger if he continued to stay weak in the way he was, so that's why he chose the path of a devil. And if you look at Yuno, he's been fighting for everyone ever since he became a Magic Knight. The Golden Dawn, William, Longers, Asta, the people at the church, his whole family, and the Spade Kingdom. Even now, he has not turned evil, became depressed, or have become a devil host. He hasn't forsaken himself. But Zenon, he did. He let everything go and decided to understand that, hey, maybe Lucius was right. His ideals are absolute. You can't save people without power. And when Yuno saw the Golden Dawn basically get slaughtered, he understood that he needed power to save them as well, but a different root, not a root of evil, not to become a devil host or not to become a devil itself. Yuno was what Zenon was supposed to become, but he didn't due to circumstances. Now with Zenon, I feel like this is the saddest part of Zenon's backstory, or the saddest part of Zenon's deal, when he tells Beelzebub to give him a devil's heart. What's so sad about this is because Zenon has noticed that he needs more power. He needs more power to defeat these guys and continue the ritual of the Tree of Death, so his dream and the siblings can come to fruition. And now, when he says he'll even give his soul to Beelzebub, you understand that he's getting desperate, and that he needs more power to protect the Spade Kingdom and to beat Yuno. And I think we all know the saying, when a man has nothing to lose, he's the most dangerous of them all. And oh, he became a devil indeed. He slammed Yuno to the ground and pinned him to the wall and basically destroyed Yuno, reverting him back to his base form. And now Yuno is sitting there and he's actually in the library of the Spade Kingdom, and now it seems hopeless. Longers and Finral are going to die. They're down. And Yuno's just thinking back on his life, thinking if he made the right decision. He's thinking back how he even acted like a brat when he wanted to go to the Spade Kingdom to get his revenge on Zenon to save William. And it's sad because Yuno's thinking if he even made the right choice to even, sacrifice Longers or not. He feels like if he only did what Zenon said, that if he made the wrong choice. But Yuno actually starts to cry because it's sad because Yuno stopped crying the moment he made the vow with Asta. He even said that he wasn't going to cry again, and Yuno has been bundling up his emotions, but this arc broke him because Yuno feels like it's all over. That is why Yuno's crying, saying, is this all I'm good for? Because all he did was just fight Zenon and lose again. There's nothing he can do. He trained like hell. He was worshipped. He was called a genius. He was trusted by William. He was hated by Alec-Dora and the Golden Dawn. He was accepted by them, and he was loved by the people at the church, his parents, and most importantly, his rival. But he also made a vow, and this is not all he is for. Now, Yuno's elf spirit, which I want to explain, I don't think Elf Yuno actually left, because I think Elf Yuno and Yuno are the same people, but they live the very same lives, so they probably just think that they're the same and have the same goals. But the Elf Yuno tells him, I concur, but you have your own magic of your own, which is Yuno's star magic. And now with Yuno's star magic, he makes Zenon a promise that he's going to save William Vengeance. He's going to save the Spade Kingdom, and because of that, he's going down. Now, this fight gets insane. With his star magic, he's already a pro. Natural talent indeed, but also hard work with his wind magic, and he's just a natural talent and a natural genius. But still, it's an amazing fight. Yuno's teleporting around, making multiple spells, and Zenon's confused and now understands what Yuno is. The son of Seal and Lois Grinbariel. And now Zenon is pissed, saying he is going to kill Yuno. Yuno combined with his wind magic, with his star magic, and using Spirit of Zephyr, and now Zenon using his bone magic and spatial magic using a bone sword. They both charge at each other, saying that they're the ones who is righteous, and we see multiple flashbacks on where they changed. Zenon when he killed Alan, and Zenon when he's in the Dark Triad, but Yuno becoming a vice captain, and not only that, leading the Golden Dawn into a new day. And now they both clash and say, and they're the ones who will win. Say anything that you want about the characters in this arc, but Zenon and Yuno are definitely one of the best in this arc. And it's crazy because two of them, you feel like you want one of them to win. Zenon because having a sympathetic backstory and understanding why he's doing the things he's doing and thinking that he's doing good. And Yuno, the golden boy of the Golden Dawn, who we've all been cheering for since the beginning of Black Clover. Yuno hits Zenon with a star-like whip and actually cuts him in half, but Zenon regenerates quickly and combines both his bone plus spatial magic to make D'Angelo Elf. With that, he can cut apart space and rip it apart, and Yuno cannot block or dodge these attacks. And the Force of Gravity siblings' ideals are just rigged in Zenon's head, where Zenon just thinking about the Force of Gravity siblings saying that the weak die easily, and it's impossible to protect them all. So we'll kill them just temporarily, just so we can make them into undying bodies. And let's create a peaceful nation with our powers alone, without death or fear of it. And Zenon is trying to convince himself that this is all for the prosperity of the Spade Kingdom. Yuno and Zenon clash again, but Zenon then thinks about it, it's over. He has nothing to destroy the devil's heart with, so there's no possible way that he can beat me. Now I want to talk about Saint Stage in a video, but not on YouTube. I'm going to probably talk about it on TikTok so you guys can understand the gist of it, instead of saying that Yuno got this out of nowhere. So yeah, just go follow me on my TikTok and I might just upload that. Now, with Yuno finally unlocking Saint Stage, Zenon then says, it's my victory, because Zenon thinks that it's just his victory alone. He's been doing things alone. He hasn't had anyone to basically lean on after Alan's death and has been manipulated by his siblings. He has no one to lean on. But Yuno, it's the contrary. Yuno has had people lean on him, had people trust him, have people hate him, but also accept him. The Golden Dawn, which is Klaus, Letale, Finral, Longris, and William, the only person that even understands why Yuno is here, and the one that saved half of the Golden Dawn so they could fight another day and so they could save him. And Yuno then actually tells Zenon, well, don't you mean this is our victory? And slices his heart in half, beating him. But not before Zenon says some final words. Zenon wants to understand what made him and Yuno so different, because the moment he saw Yuno and looked into his eyes, he knew that there was something like him inside of him. Now obviously, Yuno doesn't know what Zenon went through. He doesn't understand what Zenon went through. And he doesn't understand why they're so different, because he's not there yet. He still has a vow to keep up with his rival. And Zenon understands bitterly that that's where they differed. Yuno had trust in his rival, and he didn't forsake himself, while Zenon did. With a final flashback with Alan, Zenon is seemingly dead. Now obviously Zenon can come back in the story, and I don't think it would affect his character, and probably make him even better. Now obviously if Zenon comes back, I think we might get a second fight for this, or maybe we'll actually see these guys see eye to eye and actually have a conversation. Now, obviously, tell me what you guys think down below. Do you guys think this is the best fight in Black Clover? And do you think that this actually does make Zenon and Yuno one of the best characters in this Spade arc? Now, comment that down below. Now, if you did enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe. And if you are new, hit that bell notification to always stay notified whenever I upload a Black Clover video. Try to get back on track with this upload schedule, but it has been the Red Cloak. I'm going to head up out of here. Peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next upload.